Hello students, how are you all? Hope all are healthy and well. This presentation is for the subject child health nursing. The topic which we are going to discuss is disorders of the cardiovascular system. We will discuss these disorders of cardiovascular system in 4 parts. Hope all you understand this video, and if you have any doubt or you want me to improve any aspect of my presentation, please let me know through messages. Hope you understand this. Thank you. So I've put this slide for a review of the anatomy and physiology of the heart. As all of you know the structure of the heart, it's divided into 4 chambers: the right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. It has plenty of blood vessels. So it has the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava, which bring blood into the right atrium. From there it is pumped through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, from where it is pumped into the pulmonary artery and it goes into the lungs. And the left side, the blood is brought from the lungs through the pulmonary vein, it comes into the left atrium. From there it goes into the left ventricle through the mitral valve. From there, through the aortic valve, it is pumped into the aorta and the body, where the oxygenated blood is given. Just for the review of anatomy and physiology. So you also please read your anatomy physiology books to brush up your knowledge. And we are going to discuss about the disorders of the cardiovascular system in children. It's not a detailed presentation. It will be a brief presentation. Hope you understand it. So the chambers and vessels of heart is separated by valves and a wall of muscle called the septum. So if you look at here, these are the valves: tricuspid valve and the mitral valve or the bicuspid valve. And here in the pulmonary artery you can see the pulmonary valve, and in the aorta you can see the aortic valve. So these are the 4 valves that are present in the heart, and it is again the heart is divided by the septum. So starting with the congenital heart defects, the congenital heart defect is divided into 2: cyanotic and acyanotic. Cyanotic, as the name suggests, there will be cyanosis. There will be a bluish discoloration of the skin due to lack of oxygen, and acyanotic, there will be no cyanosis. So in acyanotic congenital heart defect, 2 patterns are seen. One is increased pulmonary blood flow, another one is obstruction to the blood flow. Increased pulmonary blood flow, you can see the 3 defects, that is atrial septal defect, ventricular septal defect, and patent ductus arteriosus. In obstruction to blood flow, we see another 3, that is aortic stenosis, coarctation of aorta, and pulmonic stenosis. So each disease conditions will be discussed further. So next is the cyanotic congenital heart defect. In this, again another 2 patterns we can see, that is decreased pulmonary blood flow and mixed blood flow. In decreased pulmonary blood flow, we will see tetralogy of Fallot, tricuspid atresia, and mixed blood flow you will see transposition of great arteries, truncus arteriosus, and hypoplastic left heart syndrome. So the first condition which we see under acyanotic heart defect, that is increased pulmonary blood flow, that is the atrial septal defect. So there are 2 atriums, that's the left atrium and the right atrium. So in this case, the septum of the atrium, here you can see that is the septum of the atrium is having a defect or an opening. So what happens is, usually the blood in the left side of the heart is under high pressure. So what happens, the blood from high pressure will flow into the area of low pressure, because the blood pressure in the right side of the heart is low. So then what happens, the blood from the left atrium will flow through the defect in the atrium into the right atrium, and then it will be pumped again into the right ventricle, and it will be pumped into the pulmonary artery. So as we said, this is under which pattern, it's increased pulmonary blood flow. So here again in this picture we can see this the atrial septum, there is a defect. So this oxygenated blood will come into the left atrium and it will pump into the right atrium. So there is increased pulmonary blood flow. So as we discussed, the atrial septal defect, it's an abnormal opening in the wall separating the right and the left atrium. So there is a left to right shunt. means the blood flows from the left side of the heart to the right side, from the left atrium to the right side. So there is a left to right shunt. The clinical features, it depends on the size. If the defect is small, the child will be usually asymptomatic, so you can't see any symptoms in the child. If the defect is large, then there will be failure to thrive and congestive heart failure. And in medium-sized defects, there can be dyspnea, tachypnea, slow physical development, feeding difficulties, and lung infection. So they will be activity intolerant at times. So feeding difficulties also can occur because of that. Increased blood flow, which carries more microorganisms to the lungs. So it can cause what? Lung infections. In diagnostic evaluation, usually the cardiac examination, electrocardiogram, chest radiography, echocardiogram is done. So for the management of ASD, small atrial septal defects closes spontaneously, and it sometimes does not need any intervention. So for significant ASD, surgical repair is done, and it is recommended to be done between the age of 2 to 4 years of age. And earlier repair also will be done if the child is symptomatic. And for surgical repair, for small openings or small defects, purse string closure is done, and for large defects, knitted Dacron patch is sewn over the defect. So here in this picture, you can see this is the small purse string closure, like closing the purse, and for large, they put a knitted Dacron patch over the defect. So basically, surgical management is done for atrial septal defect. The next congenital heart defect we are going to discuss is the ventricular septal defect. So as the name suggests, the defect is present at the ventricular septum. So this is the ventricular septum, and the defect is along the ventricular septum. So in this image you can see the ventricular septal defect. In this case also there is a left to right shunt, because the pressure of blood in the left ventricle is more than the pressure of blood in the right ventricle. So from the higher pressure to the lower pressure, the blood will flow. So therefore there is a left to right shunt through the ventricular septal defect. So this is known as what? The ventricular septal defect. So we can say ventricular septal defect, it is an abnormal communication between the right and the left ventricle, because there is a gap in the ventricular septum and the blood will flow from the right to the left ventricle. And this is the most common congenital heart defect. About 20% of all the congenital heart defect is ventricular septal defect, and there is left to right shunt. When you come to the clinical features, if the defect is small, the children will be asymptomatic, and if there is a large defect, there will be failure to thrive, means growth and development will be stunted, and there will be congestive cardiac failure. There can also be some other clinical features such as dyspnea, tachypnea, slow physical development, feeding difficulties, and lung infection. So coming to the management, 75 to 80% of small VSDs and 5 to 10% of large VSDs will spontaneously close during the first 2 years of life. So the child will be asymptomatic and does not need any management. And in some cases, antibiotics are given to prevent infection or endocarditis or pulmonary infections. Moderate and large defects, the child is given digoxin and diuretics. And if CCF continues, means congestive cardiac failure continues, surgical repair is done. In surgical repair, open heart procedure is done under general anesthesia. A patch or stitches is done to close the defect, and prophylactic antibiotic therapy is given. The next acyanotic congenital heart defect which we are going to discuss is the PDA, that is also known as the patent ductus arteriosus. So what is ductus arteriosus? It is a temporary structure in fetal circulation. So usually when a baby is born or a newborn is there, when a baby is born, the ductus arteriosus will close with 10 to 15 hours after birth, and permanently it will close within 5 to 7 days. If this ductus arteriosus does not close by 3 weeks and the ductus arteriosus is still open or patent, it is known as patent ductus arteriosus. As we have discussed, in this there is again left to right shunt of blood, in which the blood is pumped from the aorta into the pulmonary artery, because again aorta is at higher pressure and pulmonary artery is at a lower pressure. So in this slide you can see the patent ductus arteriosus. So as you know, this is the structure of the normal heart, and this is the aorta, and this is the pulmonary artery. So what happens in patent ductus arteriosus? Let's see. This is the part that is the ductus arteriosus. This is the normal structure in the fetal circulation. So usually after birth, this ductus arteriosus, that is a connection between the aorta and the pulmonary artery, closes. But when it does not close, then what happens? It leads to patent ductus arteriosus. So in this case, what happens? The blood that is pumped into the aorta, some will go into the body, and some of that blood will get pumped into the pulmonary artery, causing a left to right shunt. This is known as the patent ductus arteriosus. So clinical features of patent ductus arteriosus. Usually it's congenital heart failure if it's a preterm. In term newborns, you can see small defects. If it is small defect, it is asymptomatic, and if the defect is large, then the child will have congestive heart failure, and growth retardation is also seen, and there will be activity intolerance. Means if the child takes feed or if the child moves around, then child will feel breathlessness. That is activity intolerance. Coming to the management, so we have two types of management in PDA. One is the medical and one is the surgical. So first we'll look the medical management. The medical management is continued till 3 weeks after birth to see whether the ductus arteriosus closes by its own. So the first line of treatment is ibuprofen, and the dose is, the start dose or the loading dose is 10 mg per kg, and the maintenance dose is 5 mg per kg per dose once a day, 2 days, and then echocardiography is done to see whether the PDA is closed, and if it is not closed, again the dose is continued for 5 mg per kg per dose per day. And in children who are contraindicated, or the the patent ductus arteriosus has not closed after continuous treatment with ibuprofen, then paracetamol is given. If it is IV, it is given at 7.5 mg per kg per dose, quarter 6 hourly into 3 days, and if it is orally, the double the dose of IV, that is 15 mg per kg per dose, quarter 6 hourly into 3 days. And if the PDA does not close through medical management, then what is done? Surgical management is done. The surgical management that is done is through ligation. Means it is ligated and it is joined together. And the indication for surgery is increased ventilatory requirement, hypotension, oliguria, renal failure, feeding intolerance, and there is no weight gain. Supportive management for PDA, which include fluid management, respiratory support, and feeding. So we have to give adequate fluid if the child is not able to take feed, so you have to give supportive fluid management. And if the child's respiratory rate and the saturation is low, then we can give respiratory support. Usually we give CPAP or a nasal prong catheter, and feeding also should be encouraged. Diagnostic measures for all these cardiac conditions which we discussed under a cyanotic cardiac condition, increased pulmonary blood flow, we can say common examinations such as cardiac examination. In cardiac examination, through auscultation, we can hear a systolic murmur, and electrocardiogram is done to check the ECG, and chest radiography is done to see whether there is any ventricular failure. So if there is a failure, then there will be enlargement of the heart, and echocardiogram is done to check the location of the defect. Where is the defect? Where is the PDA? Where is the ventricular septal defect? Where is the ASD? Along which length it is. So for that, echocardiogram is also done. So thank you for your patient listening. This congenital heart defects I will be uploading in 4 parts. This is the first part, and the subsequent videos will be uploaded soon. All of you take care, follow all the guidelines to prevent from getting COVID-19. All of you take care of your health. Have a nice day. Bye.